Good evening, peeps. Brother Brent coming at you live on YouTube. You better mean it. You darn well better mean it. 6 months ago, I was in a fatality head on collision and busted up pretty good. Still healing up. Good news is I'm on my final leg cast right now on my right leg, and I'm getting that off on the 15th of this month. Praise Jesus. And I'll start physical therapy. And then we'll be pretty much done as far as they can go medically with me. And it'll be what it'll be. I already know that I'm probably going to have to live with more pain for the rest of my life because of the nature of the injuries. But that's not the message. You darn well better be ready, and you better mean it. You darn well better mean it. Brother Brent, I want to trust God more closely. I want to be able to trust Him with every detail of my life. I want to give up worrying about the day-to-day things, confident in my trust in Him that He's got my back. I want to trust God. Said it before and I'll say it again. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. You darn well better mean it. You darn well better. And the reason you darn well better mean it is simply this. You tell God you want to trust Him. You tell God you want to become totally and completely dependent on Him in all areas of your life. God's going to bring it. Not just a little. Not just a tad. Not even just a skosh. God's going to bring it, and He's going to bring it by the truckload. Save up. Save up. Buckle in. That's two of the most dangerous words you can ever utter out of your mouth. Trust God. Because some of you don't know what you're in for. Some of you ain't got a clue about the bigger picture of what that two words means. And I'm guessing not many of you got a clue about what the price tag is for those two words. Because God's going to bring it. Devil's going to bring it. And ain't neither one of them playing. God don't play. He gonna bring it. Devil don't play. He gonna bring it. Because the minute you step out there and say, hey, I'm gonna trust God like that. I'm gonna trust God totally and completely. You just put a bullseye on your back for the devil for one thing. But God's going to allow you to be tested to see whether you mean it or not. 6 months ago on November 5th, 2022, 3 lives intersected the veil between life and death. One was chosen to go on. Myself and Ken were chosen to live. Trust God. Six months of some not too little painful recovery. Multiple surgeries. Multiple leg casts. Walking around with a walker. Or tooling around in a wheelchair. Which ain't bad, by the way. But I've had no choice in all of that but to trust God. However, having said that, long before the accident, long before I got hurt, Chrissy and I had made a pact with God, if you will, that we wanted to trust Him completely with everything we had, with every facet of our life and our being, everything. We wanted Him to not only be in first place in our lives, but be the most important thing in our universe to us. That's what we asked for. Because we wanted to trust God and just let go of the cares of this world and everything else and just trust God. On Halloween of 2022, October 31st, pulling out of a Wendy's drive-thru, a woman hit Chrissy's Jeep Commander that we had and just took the entire front end off. And I was hurt, but not hospital hurt. I was achy and going to be sore for a few days and stove up, but generally okay, banged up. That was on Halloween, October 31st, 2022. So the next day, I get a ride across town, go to Enterprise, and rent us a car because we need something. Our Jeep was totaled. We needed something to drive while we waited for a settlement till we could go buy us a vehicle. And we rented the Jeep Compass that I was in the fatality accident 3 days later on November 5th, 2022. Be careful about saying you want to trust God, because you darn well better mean it. God don't play, and He's going to bring it. He's going to allow things to come your way to test you, to see how serious about this you are. I'm here to tell you, the road is hard, it's rough. In some places it's hard to find and to see. And there's a lot of dangerous curves and drop-offs. But you know what? You trust God. Because what else have you got? What have you got to fall back on? You have to trust God. No matter what's going on out here in this world, no matter what's going on in your family, no matter what's going on in your personal life and in your personal space inside your head, You've got no choice. You've got to trust God, because what have you got to fall back on? So when you say, I want to trust God, you darn well better mean it. Because God takes it real seriously. And it's not all a bed of roses. Now, in the meantime, yes, we've had tremendous blessings. People coming out of the woodwork to help us when we need it. We had to beg rides when this first started out because we still don't have a vehicle. And just today, I decided to give the lawyer a call and say, hey, is there any news? Any sign of a light at the end of the tunnel on the settlement so we can get us a vehicle? We have to wait on that settlement to get a vehicle of our own. And the lawyer said, yes, I have some news, and it's not good. And I thought, okay, great. Our settlement is not going to be good. Not what we expected. Not what we budgeted for. Not what we, in our own human wisdom, had considered would be the case, and how to plan ahead for when it did come in. But it's significantly less than what we were expecting, which puts us in a real bind because we still have to buy a vehicle. And now we won't have what we thought we were going to have to shop with. We have no choice. We trust God. Because we know that we know that we know that we know He's got our back. He's got this situation. He's got it under control. But if you're going to trust God, you got to mean it. You got to roll with all this stuff that's getting thrown at you and keep on chucking on. When you're bone tired, wore down, and got nothing left, you got to keep chucking on. It don't say you have to stand tall to be in God's army. It says you have to stand up. Let me say that again. It doesn't say that you have to stand tall to be in God's army. But it does say you have to stand up. Trust in God. Is it a beautiful and amazing and a horribly hardship thing to do, all at the same time? But when things fall into place, in what I like to call midnight hour miracles, when it seems every possible means of solution has been exhausted to no avail, and God steps in and makes a way. Every single time, without fail. That's what trusting God means. That means letting go of everything and everyone else that can possibly distract or pull you away from your mission to trust Him. Nothing can dissuade you from that. But be ready also, because the devil is not going to take kindly to that, and he's going to throw things at you. We have had appliance failures. Still don't have vehicle. We've had some electrical issues that had to be resolved. Satan knows what buttons to push. And he's going to come at you. He's going to bring his A game too. When you decide to trust God, he's going to bring everything he can to try and get you to change your mind about all that nonsense he's been hearing. Because when you trust God, you become dangerous to the devil. And you become moldable and shapeable to where he can recreate you into who and what he designed you to be. And that's what he's doing. I've had a long, painful recovery, and I'm still in a lot of pain. That's probably not going to change anytime soon. But I'm getting better. And all along this hard road, God was right there every step of the way, providing what we needed, when we needed it. Not what we wanted all the time, but what we needed was taken care of. And we learned a few things, like things we thought we wanted weren't quite as important as we thought they were when you looked at the bigger picture. It makes you shapeable in his hands, like the clay that he formed man from. Let him mold and shape you today. Let him make and recreate you into the who and what he designed you to be for his glory. And let that be your mission, to say you trust God.